Thanks for tuning in to this episode of I Have Something to Say, where subject matter experts are unafraid and unapologetic about sharing their perspectives regarding issues that impact our lives. They speak up because basically they give a shit. So if you're tired of canned answers and want to finally hear real people cut through the BS and talk about real issues, this is the podcast for you. I'm your host, Sami Heyman Marrero from Urbender, and behind our mixer is our producer, Chris Majoka from UdoU. Hello, everyone, and welcome. I want to introduce you to my friend, Tisse Mallon, and I've been wanting you to come on to the podcast for a while now, but I think the timing is perfect. It's perfect. Welcome, Tisse. How are you?
Thank you so much, Sami. I am doing great today. So happy to be here and getting to spend some time together with you.
Yes, absolutely. And so Tisse is the founder of Elar Institute, which focuses basically on the science of connection. And so it's deep work. This is like serious, good. This is like the human to human connection kind of work. And so please educate me and explain in your own words what the science of connection is all about.
Yes, thank you. So, when we talk about connection, we're not only talking about person to person, we're talking each individual within themselves, connecting to ourselves, connecting to our feelings and thoughts and values, all of that personal stuff, as well as relating to others. So, our most important relationships, whether it's a family or friends or at work or within our communities. And then, like, the third dimension is connection to the world around us, connecting to what we're here for and how we want to show up in the world and how we want to contribute. So there's a multiple layers, and the way that we approach teaching the science of connection is we utilize like the latest from applied neuroscience, emotional intelligence, and mindfulness. And we have a really unique combination of how we put those together and create experiential classes for people to actually get to live it, to learn it.
And to build muscle, right? Because it doesn't happen overnight. It really takes a lot of work. I know. I know from experience. I often fail to measure my words or to realize sometimes, that yeah, it's okay to be rough around the edges, but sometimes the way it's received by others could be hurtful, right? And so then sometimes we're just not equipped with those tools, right? To be able to navigate, conversations and dynamics with other people, people that we know and that we don't know. And so do you find that a lot of I kind of know the answer to this, right? Just I'm asking you, and I already know the answer. That a lot of the issues that we're faced with in society are rooted in that, no, in that lack of skill, that lack of that skill of being able to connect with others and practice and exercise mindfulness and just pause or whatever. Like, what does that look like? E- Exercising that muscle.
Absolutely. Yeah. So there's so many things that come to mind when I hear you speak. First and foremost, in our program, not only are we teaching people skills, but we're helping to create paradigm shifts because we're unlearning a lot of what
Mhm.
we've been taught. We've been taught, for example, to avoid conflict. We've been taught, conflict is bad and wrong. I mean, if you're having conflict, then something's wrong, and I don't believe that to be true. I believe that conflict is a natural, healthy part of any relationship, and that really it provides an opportunity for us to understand one another better and to strengthen our connection to one another. The other thing that we've been taught that we need to unlearn is competition. Since a really, really young age, we're taught this concept of being the best and winning. And what we're taught is that there is this idea of a win lose.
Mhm.
And I don't believe that exists. There is no such thing in our world that is interconnected as a win-lose. If you think about, just the nature of interconnection, if everything is connected and everything impacts one another, to think that one thing can win while another loses is a strange thought if everybody's
Mhm.
connected. So if everything's connected, then that means there can only truly be either a win-win or a lose-lose. And this is where I value collaboration a
Mhm.
million times over competition. I believe that our best selves truly show up individually and together when we engage from a collaborative mindset versus a competition mindset. So we in our work, we are helping people unlearn just as much as we're helping them to learn. And then what I'm hearing you refer to is the structure, the practice, the fact that we don't get it just all at once, and that it
Mhm.
needs to be this shift that happens. And I think that when we start implementing these structures that support practice, and we remind ourselves that we're not after perfection, right? So practice doesn't make perfection. Practice makes progress. And that's what we're looking at.
Mm.
As human beings, we are evolving. We're constantly, evolving and growing and shifting. And so we're not looking at reaching this ideal that's
Ideal,
just one
yeah.
set thing. Yeah,
Mhm.
it's just we're always wanting to commit ourselves to growing a little bit more each day.
Wow, that's awesome. And I love this concept about the win-win, lose-lose. It's not win-lose ever. It
Not
never
not truly.
is. Wow, yeah. And because a lot of our society is rooted in that. And we see all of these issues that are happening, even with the social justice movement and with a lack of opportunities or the haves and have-nots, just every aspect really of society. And when you start even competitions in schools too, it's like win lose, and so I just feel like it's so deeply rooted in how we just operate as human
Yes.
beings that it wow, it takes a conscious effort really to be able to even consider finding help to meet that mentality of you practice to progress, right? And not to reach this ideal, because really nobody is perfect at the end of the day, right? We're always going to have those moments, and according to what I'm hearing, it's okay, to have those
Exactly.
moments, but it's to catch yourself, right? And improve and try to make it better. Wow. I have a question for you, because I know that you're big on, compassion, connecting, play even, and really being curious about others. And so how do those things fall into, your work and the impact that you're trying to make in having people, go through this experience of that shift in the way they approach others.
Absolutely. So, lately I've been, geeking out a little extra hard on the neuroscience of
Okay.
curiosity. There's this paper that was written studying the impact of curiosity, like the state of curiosity on our brain and learning. And it turns out that when we are engaged curiously, we're like,
Mm-hmm.
like I'm leaning in towards something, it
Mm-hmm.
increases my capacity to learn and retain, but not only in the thing that I was initially curious about, but rather it primes me. And now, generally speaking, now that I am, primed in that curious state, anything that shows up, I will have the ability to learn and retain. So curiosity as a tool in, like when we understand our brain, oh, curiosity is a tool now that I can generate intentionally to increase my capacity for learning. And then play is another element of that. Notice that when we're playing, there's a large element of curiosity. There's a large element of just being in the moment. And then there's that mindfulness element that comes in. So really, curiosity and play being two of the tools that we utilize to engage people with their emotional learning, right? So
Mm.
that because let's face it, emotional intelligence or emotional learning, confronting, what our feelings, right? Like what a scary word for a lot of
Yeah.
us, right? So
Uh-huh.
we're needing a way for it to be approachable
Mhm.
and okay and not so scary. And I think curiosity and play make it a little less scary.
Okay, so then talk to
So,
me about your living room theater, because I can only
yes,
assume that that's how that whole idea came up, and what the yeah, what is that all about? Because is that part of what you just mentioned about curiosity and play?
absolutely. So the curiosity and the play, like we want to infuse that in all elements of what we do, right? So whether it's like our online classes or our workshops and retreats, but we also have very specific projects. Now, this project I'm going to share with you about, it's called Living Room Theater. And what
Uh-huh.
happened was, I've been doing this inner work with people, teaching, guiding, coaching for the past 12 years. And one of the things that I tell people over and over and over, right? Different people, of course, is
Mhm.
don't keep anything on your back burner. If there's something that you're passionate about, if you have a dream, if you have a vision for something, start now. Start with what you
Mm.
have, start, however you can, just get into action. And about 5 years ago, I realized, oh my goodness, I've had something on my own back burner and I haven't put it into action. Like it
Uh-huh.
was like really like a hard hitting moment because I'm like, I'm not doing what I tell people to do.
Uh-huh.
So and the reason why I wanted to do this project is in my coaching sessions with people, I started hearing person after person after person after person start having the same upsets, the same complaints, the same challenges, the same struggles. And they were all experiencing being alone in it.
Mm.
Like, it's just me. There must be something wrong with me that this is happening. And I really wanted them to know that they weren't alone in what
Mhm.
they were experiencing. So I I also have a theater and performance background. And I'm like, like I really want to use performance and entertainment as a way of letting people know, hey, you're not alone. What you're experiencing, what you're challenged by in life, it's part of human. It was born out of that idea, and I started it in my very own living room because I didn't have the money to rent out a theater, and
Uh-huh.
um, and so I cleared out my living room and I made it into a little mini theater. Now, like I had a really small place back then, but let me tell you, we packed the people in. It was, oh my goodness, my living room was probably about 13 feet by 11 feet at the most.
Mhm.
And we, on the day that we had the most people in there, I believe we had 28.
Oh my
28
goodness.
people. So we really did. It was an experience. And
Yeah.
this show, like the whole idea is this is the drama of everyday life and we do a
Mm.
series of mini plays. So a mini play could last anywhere between a minute to 7 minutes each. We do 12 of them and there's like a variety. There's, like a serious scene or, like a storytelling scene or a comedic, lighthearted, more experimental piece, but all of it was based in our own personal truths and all of it
Mm.
was based like written by the performers in it, and we have 3 performers always that are part of the show. And we say that the magic of the show is really not so much the show itself, but what happens afterwards, because then
After.
we open it up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, what happens afterwards? Well, you've just had a shared experience. And
Mhm.
now after having this shared experience, now we invite the audience to share their stories. What did it remind you of? What stories do you want to share with each other? And so then they start sharing the audience,
Yeah.
amongst themselves, and it becomes like this is what I consider my sneak attack because now they start opening up and sharing these challenging moments or even joyful moments, but they start
Mhm.
sharing and opening and connecting and bonding a little bit more.
That's great. And this applies, it doesn't have to be friends. It could be like in a work environment. It could be in, an organization. It could be a community group. It could be students even, right? Like
Absolutely.
in public school or private school or even academia. I can only imagine that it could be recreated, right? It doesn't have to be in a living room itself, but actually, and that's where the name of the Elar Institute came about, right? LR, right? It's
Oh my
living
goodness.
room.
Yes.
Room. You told me
Yes.
that
Well,
recently. I'm like, how cool is that? Uh-huh.
Initially I started in my living room because that's what I had available.
Yeah.
But then, as we started going into friends' living rooms and then their friends' living rooms, and then all of a sudden we're like, "Oh my goodness, living rooms themselves are amazing." A living room is a space where we feel at home and at ease, like the mask comes down, and
Mhm.
just like it's a space of belonging and acceptance, and that's what we want our organization to be. So we want to honor that by taking the letters L and R from living room, and
Mhm.
we, came up with the name Elar for our
Elar
organization.
Institute. I love it because
Elar Institute.
I asked you recently. I'm like, "Tease, what's that?" "Elar." And you were
Yeah.
like, "LR, living room." I'm like, "Ah." Yes, because
Yeah.
that's at the heart, right, of what you're trying to do is to and it really speaks to me, as a Latina. I know that you're also of Latino heritage. That it's mi casa es tu casa, right? It's that concept also, of embracing and belonging and
Yes.
just creating safe spaces for people to, just be, right? Yes.
Oh my
So
goodness, you took the words right out of my mouth. Yes.
yes. Yeah. I mean, we're not all as successful at doing so, but it's like that's part of like what you said. It's practice and progress, right? And so yeah, I guess it's just a matter of just putting the work in and the time in to learn these techniques. And wow, so how did you get into this? 12 when you started 12 years ago. I mean, I'm not now we haven't had this discussion, so we're gonna have it right now. The world did you get into this whole, science of connection and really understanding, right? How to navigate, personas and that and I have your deck also, your communication card deck, that it's just the whole thing is fascinating. How did you get into this work?
It was started, at a very, very young age. I developed a
Clearly.
love for people, right? Aw. So, I mean clearly. Yeah, I was born in Mexico City. I was born into my extended family. So at home, I had my grandparents and my 3 aunts and my mom, and I think that's really just being surrounded by all this love and all this activity. I think it just was very much a part of what I grew up in and what I was born into,
Mhm.
this
Yeah.
joyous, um, shared time together.
Mhm.
And I remember each one of my family members played a very particular part in teaching me something that I treasure deeply today. I remember
Mhm.
my grandma, when especially when my mom would be off at work and I was still too little to go to school, and I would go with my grandma on her daily errands, and we would go downtown and we'd go to the market, and every single person that like a homeless person on the street, she stopped by to acknowledge, to chat for a while, to give a few coins to give a piece of food to. Just that compassion. She modeled that for me. She never said anything about it. She just did it. And
Mhm.
and I saw the connection that she shared with people.
Mhm.
Um, so that was one
Yeah.
example. And so growing up, I had this fascination of people, and it just started growing and growing and growing. And I started getting curious. What is it that has people want to jump out of bed in the morning? What is it that really brings people to life? And let me tell you, I could not find it. I could not find what that was for
Mhm.
many, many years. And I remember really in high school was the moment that it really started like hitting hard for me because I started experiencing some depression, and I didn't feel I had a right to feel depressed because my situation was very good. We had immigrated to Chicago. I had parents who cared about me and were attentive. I did okay in school. I did pretty well, and I was involved in activities. But there was something missing, and I couldn't figure out what that was. And I continued struggling for about 6.5 years, and finally was just like out of my mind, miserable. And
Mhm.
then somebody stepped in and made all the difference in the world. And this was
Yes.
after having gone to, years of therapy and getting put on medication at some point, ending up in the psych ward. Like, I really went through it and I
Mhm.
explored. I hadn't found any answers that satisfied me until this one person, and this person was self-taught. This person spoke to me like a peer. This person
Mhm.
shared their insights with me, but didn't tell me, like this is the way to think. And so just really showed me a new way of looking and approaching life, of looking at life,
Mhm.
of approaching life. And once I started working with him, 6 months later, my world like shifted. It had opened up completely. And I knew at that point that this is what I wanted to do for the rest of my life. I wanted to make the journey for others a little more gentle, a little more easy, because I don't think it has to be as hard as it is. Not to mention that I think, generally speaking, people don't acknowledge that life is tough. So, first and
Mm.
foremost, let's acknowledge that. Sometimes life
Right.
kicks our butt. And then
Yeah.
now there's tools to make it easier and to have like a much fuller, richer experience. And I'm all for that, and I'm wanting to support others and getting to have that as well.
Yes, totally. I know that you have an upcoming retreat. Are you, is that what you're calling it? It's a leadership, but no, it's like I feel like it's an intervention. I'm gonna enroll. I'm gonna do it. It's at the end of this month of May. It's 4 days, right? Online. And it
Yes.
really, and
Yes.
it's about really building this, exercising this muscle. It says here that, at the end of the program, this sounds really good to me. I'll have an increased sense of freedom and ease in expressing boundaries, because I kind of express boundaries, but I think I'm a little too blunt about it. So maybe I think I need help with that, right? Clarity on how to achieve your goals and what really matters to you. Powerful processes for de-escalation. That's a big one for me too. Holy crap. And having difficult conversations. Yes. I mean, I was reading down the list and I'm like, holy shit, let me find out. I got to do Tisse's retreat, And so then I'm going to, as soon as we finish recording here, I'm going to enroll. I'm serious about it because I need help, girl. This is like, I really need help. And so this is just great. What should I expect? Is it a retreat? What are you calling it? Because
So,
you're
yeah, words are funny. I'm going to call our programs retreats the moment that we get to teach this work while, in a lush,
or
setting,
resorts
right? I think
or
that
the
that's what's
resorts.
going to happen then.
Listen, it's a virtual retreat. Okay, so
It's a virtual retreat.
because you're gonna get this sense of luxury once you come out of it, right? Transformed, right? So it's gonna be like you're getting like an emotional massage, right? And you're gonna come out
Yes.
4 days later, like
Love it.
all beat up because it says here you're gonna cry, and I'm like, holy shit! Wait a second, you're going to laugh, you're gonna cry. Okay, so yeah, happens
Yes, you're
with
reading one of our testimonials there. So this is something that
yes,
a participant said. We're not
yes.
promising that you're going to cry, but
It just might happen,
it
right?
just
Yeah.
might happen. Yeah.
I've been doing
It's tough
I've been
work.
doing some what was that?
I'm sorry. I said, yes, I want to acknowledge it is tough work, but my
Yeah.
promise is it's worth it.
Yes. Oh, no, no, no. Yeah, I'm all for it. Yes, totally. And I have no problem with crying if I have to,
Hmm.
and so, or if I feel I need to, I did a little bit of that, just in the couple of, the past few days. And so anyway, so it'll be good. I'm excited. I mean, I just feel like this conversation is timely, and I'm so glad I
Oh,
didn't miss it.
hmm.
That I For me anyway, personally. So I'm glad I didn't miss it. And so we you were talking about last time we spoke about listening, the art of listening, and about how it's so important to learn how to decipher. And you have those cards. That's what those cards are for, right? Is to engage with others and and how do you say, create a space. Yes. What? Yes.
These are the cards.
Yes. So show me the cards, Tease, and
Yeah.
explain this to me. Yes.
Yes. So one of the things that we do is we realize that we've got feelings cards here. And the reason why we have a list of feeling cards is that we have oftentimes been taught that feelings aren't relevant, or maybe they're not considered super important. And that's because we've been taught a framework that has us, instead of focusing on connecting with ourselves, has us focusing on thinking about what is expected of us, what
Mm,
other people are wanting to hear from us, what other people are wanting to us to do. So instead of connecting, we're focused on the right way of thinking. And so that's what we're trained in.
right.
And so a lot of
And
times,
to
because we're
fitting, like, to fitting a mold and to fitting these expectations. Yes. Mm-hmm.
absolutely, so because we're so focused on the right kind of thinking, what we do is we live life kind of like from the neck up.
Mm.
It's like somebody can just come along and like chop it off, right? And it's just like the use of the body is just to hold a head up. That's really,
Mhm.
how we're
Mhm.
going around relating. And
Mhm.
so we want to begin this process of reconnection. And what that means is pausing to do a scan, to check in with your body, to sense what it is that you're feeling. And I promise you, we're feeling something all the time,
Mm.
even if the feeling currently is numb. We're
Mm.
always, because the feelings are guidance. They're letting us know. And so here's where we reveal what it is that feelings are, because I think growing up nobody ever teaches us what feelings are.
Mhm.
Feelings are the way that our body communicates to our consciousness what needs are being met or not met. And so here's now
Oh.
now we get to the next layer, right? That as
Mhm.
human beings, we all have needs. If you think about other beings, right? Say for example, you think about a plant, maybe a tree. A tree has needs. Why does it have needs? Because it's alive. Having needs
Mhm.
is a sign of life. It's beautiful. It's existing life reaching out for more life. So what needs does a tree have? Well, a tree has needs for air, for sunlight, for water. When does a tree not have any of those needs? When it's dead.
Right.
That's it. And as human beings, we're really similar. The only time that we won't have any needs is when we're dead. And
Right.
having needs is not a bad or shameful thing. It's a being alive thing. And so we need to
Mhm.
learn what are the needs of human beings. And this is something we're not taught. So the other deck is our needs cards. And
Mm.
with the needs cards, we become aware that, oh my goodness, human beings have a need for understanding, for ease, for privacy, for efficiency, for peace, for space, for change, for learning and growth, for honesty, for appreciation, for autonomy. Oh my goodness, like there's, so many.
Yeah.
So many. Like
Yes.
as human beings, we're very needy creatures. And this is because we're full of life, right?
Mm.
So like shifting also what people hear when you hear of a needy creature, oftentimes people are like, I don't want to be a needy creature. Yes, you do. Being needs is an indicator that you're full of life and hungry for more of it.
Okay.
So we utilize this, feeling communication to really become aware of what is calling us into action, calling us into speaking, calling us into doing, and we see ourselves on a whole new level. And in some cases, we have figured it out, right? So, say for example, if I'm bored, what is it that's telling me? Oh, it's telling my body is telling me you're in need of some stimulation. Your need for stimulation, or maybe excitement or fun and play, is not getting met. So this is
Mhm.
guidance. So people relate to feelings as an end state. And this
Yes.
couldn't be further from the truth. Feelings are just that little nudge. Oh my goodness, I don't remember the exact statistic, but there's a statistic out there that blew my mind about airplanes. Airplanes are off course about 90 some percent of the time. And that
What?
shocked me. Yes. The instrumentation, what the instrumentation is doing on an airplane is it's checking the
Uh-huh.
course and then it nudges it back onto course. It's checking the course, nudges it back on course, checking the course,
Wow.
nudging it back on course. And so it's always course correcting. The majority of the time
Mm.
is course correcting. And this is our feelings. The feelings are letting us know, oh, no, not that way. Oh, no, not
Uh-huh.
this way. Oh, a little bit more
Oh,
that way.
wow.
Live
That's
moment to moment communication.
that is awesome. That's awesome. So wait a second. So that course correction, am I gonna learn a little bit of that, when I go into your virtual retreat at the end of the month?
Absolutely.
Okay, good,
Absolutely.
because I need
Yeah.
that because my thing is off. My
Well,
my my compass
your
is
compass, is it spinning? It's doing
it's
like those
spinning
crazy
and it's
circles?
underwater and it's all fucked up. So I need
Aw.
I need to course correct. No, but I'm really looking forward to it. Absolutely. This sounds like it's gonna be actually enlightening and fun and helpful. That's the biggie, right? Helpful
Mhm.
and I think it's gonna really make me look, and I'm hoping, right, at life and relationships in a whole different light, and so I'm excited. I'm really excited. And so when is this? I think this is so timely. So it's Thursday, May 27th through Sunday, May 30th. And the commitment, it's a
Yes.
6 hour a day commitment from 11 in the morning to 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right?
Yes.
And then,
Absolutely.
that's
And it's open
intense.
for anybody around the world. We've got
Yes.
people signed up from all around the world, and so I find that super exciting.
Yeah, that's awesome. I can't wait. And is there going to be interaction amongst people too? Like, what is it like? I mean, I don't want you to give it away, but I'm curious to see. I could get the sneak peek, right? As to what we should expect.
Absolutely.
Huh?
Yes, yes, this is just for you. So,
Okay.
I told you, we really value curiosity and play, and so we really try to bring it to this particular program. And so, what that means is we're trying to deliver this work in a variety of interactive ways. So, yes, there will be some small moments of lecture, but mostly you'll be interacting, you'll be engaging in activities, you will have a buddy during the whole program that you will get to check in with and get to know pretty well. I think we've created some really powerful friendships by doing that because they
Mm,
continue speaking even after the program. Not always, but a good amount of the time. And then you also have a small group. So there's the large group. The large group is usually about 20 people. And then there are
mhm.
three facilitators. There's myself, and then there's Greg Pollock and Amy Wicker, and they are my partners in this and just absolutely amazing facilitators, teachers, human beings. And we each have our own small group so that we can facilitate more in-depth conversations about each particular topic.
This is cool. And then, so for example, if you're going to work with because I'm assuming, right, that you could work with companies or academic institutions or nonprofit organizations and all of that. Do you encourage them to go to this type, or can you also create like smaller programs or customized programs based on what their needs are? Or this is like foundational work? How does it work?
Yes to all of it. So
Okay.
this is foundational work, and we're happy to customize to an organization's specific needs. Again,
Yeah.
we all have unique needs that pop
Yeah.
up, and so we're happy to work with that and collaborate to make something possible. This course, so here's who this course is for. This
Yeah.
course
I'm
is
think
for
can I tell you,
self.
wait. I
Yeah.
think this all CEOs, quite frankly, anybody in leadership and CEOs and like that should definitely take this. I think anyway. That's my opinion. But go ahead. You tell me who you think.
Yeah, this program is for the self-declared leader. And that
Mm,
is self-defined, right?
mm,
It's I don't care if you're a CEO. I don't care if you're a mom or a dad or even a grandma, and you're
mhm,
taking on leading your family. It could
Mm,
be somebody from a nonprofit organization. It could be somebody who's really passionate about activism. If
mhm.
you have a vision for what you want to create in your life and in the world, come take this course because
Yeah.
there are things that pop up for us that get in our way,
Mhm.
and this course will help clear that out. So to make your journey a little easier, a little clearer, and definitely a lot more fun.
And productive.
Yes. Well,
Yes.
that's a
Yeah.
given.
Yeah.
Yeah,
This is
yeah.
great. I mean, Tease, I can't wait. I feel like this is like a prelude. It's like I just picked up a really good book and I read the introduction, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm ready to like read the book. And so that's how I feel like I got like an introduction or like a sneak peek or how do you say when with the movies, the trailer. This was the
The
trailer
trailer.
this is the trailer for the virtual retreat at the end of the month, and I'm gonna gift this to myself. I'm gonna enroll, register, and this is gonna be investment in me. And yeah, and you know what? And then after, we should. I'm gonna put it into practice,
Mhm.
and exercise that muscle, and if and make some progress because I know I will
Yes.
make some progress in different areas in my life, and then we're gonna get back on here and we're gonna talk about it. How's that?
Well, I would love that. Let me
With
just
my
share
buddy, because
with your
I'm like I'm
buddy.
so
Yes.
excited that I'm gonna make a friend too in this whole thing too. So and with my buddy, how's that?
Yeah.
Whoever that
Yeah.
person is, I can't wait to meet you.
Let me tell you, I want to share with you just really quickly one
Yeah.
of the reasons, well, maybe two of the reasons why I'm so excited that you're going to be taking this program.
Oh,
You
why?
have, well, like, number one, you have already accomplished so much, right?
Mm,
Like, you have had a successful career. You're out there impacting communities, businesses, individuals on so many levels. You have your own beautiful family. Like, you're already out there kind of like claiming like who you are in the world. And it's natural that conflicts come up. It's natural that we can't please everybody all the time. And so with these tools, like, I don't know what else is possible, right? Like, I'm really excited to see how you utilize it. And then the second reason I'm just so excited that you're taking this is I hear how serious you are. I hear how committed you are to really implementing this because you're wanting to experience more of that connection. You like
mhm,
care about others um being left with this enlivened sense of connection and appreciation and being heard and seen fully. And like
mhm.
that commitment is what helps us to really put it into action. So
Yeah.
to have somebody who is like so ready for it is
Yeah.
thrilling.
Yeah. Again, it's all about timing. I just feel like at this point in my life, I just feel like, yes, I need help with really fully understanding, my role in dynamics, with peers, with family members, hell, with my teenage son. You know what I'm saying? I'm sure it's going to help in so many aspects with clients,
Mhm.
and it's like you say, I do consider myself being or exercising a leadership role in many aspects,
Yeah.
and so I think this is going to be very helpful in being more mindful and and learning how to pause and listen and really be more effective in the way I connect with people. And so I can't wait. I really can't
Can,
wait, Tease. Yeah.
can I ask you
Hmm.
one question here? I'm
Yes.
curious.
I'm not sure
What
I'll answer, but it's okay.
what would you like to experience more of in your life? If you're thinking of just like more like feeling, experience, what would you like to experience a little bit more of?
Myself, less frustration.
Okay, so hold on. We always, when we're talking about what we want to
Yes.
name the thing and not the absence of something else, right? So if I were to
Ah,
tell you, don't think of a penguin wearing a purple uniform, right?
Okay.
Don't think of a penguin wearing a purple striped uniform, right? Like,
Okay.
what are you thinking? You're thinking about that penguin with the purple uniform. So if you're saying, I want to experience less frustration or I don't want to experience frustration, all that like we're left with is frustration. So
Okay.
what is not feeling frustration? What would you be feeling if you're not feeling frustration?
Feeling relieved. Relief. Like I want to feel happiness and peacefulness, about everyone that I care about being in a good place. I feel like that's my, and how I can help, in that process without conflict and without, making sometimes the issues more difficult. Like, for example, my son, he's 14 years old and we have a lot of, especially with the e-learning. Oh my God, what a hot mess.
Yeah.
It's been
So
very,
if
very
there's
challenging. And so then that would
oh
be
yeah.
great. I'm hoping that at the end of this, I can come out with like the tools to navigate that relationship, right? With my teenage son in a way that
Yes.
maybe, our parents never had those tools. And so it was like, all the time. And so then wait a second, maybe there's a different way, right? Who I don't know. He's my first teenager. So I have no idea how to even, but maybe I'm thinking
Yeah.
maybe this will help with that, So that's just one
So
example, right? Yeah.
if it's not this, if it's not the conflict, then what is it that you might get to experience?
A breakthrough, like peace and connection.
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
Peace and
Uh-huh.
connection.
Yes,
Beautiful.
uh-huh.
So
Yeah.
yeah, so that's what then now becomes our focal point. And I want you to start getting really connected and related to what that feels like in your body because right now it's like a foreign concept. I'm sure you've experienced it in different
Mhm.
moments, but right now since the frustration and the conflict has been so front and center, like
Mhm.
this sense of like breakthrough of like peace and connection feels a little more foreign. So we want to start reminding the body what that feels like.
Yes. Okay, great. So I'm really, really looking forward to it. I just feel like it's
Yeah.
going to be a really awesome um experience and stepping into the summer, right? With this new outlook,
Yes.
so it's gonna
Mhm.
and into actually interacting with more people because now that people are most people anyway are getting vaccinated and all of that. I'm hoping that we can start seeing each other and hugging it out and all of that kind of stuff too. So it'll be good. Yeah. This is great. Thank you so much,
Absolutely.
Tease. And I guess I'll be seeing you in a couple of weeks,
Yes.
every day. I'm
I'll
so
keep an eye out for
excited.
your application.
Yes, absolutely. I'm gonna do it like literally as soon as we end this recording. Okay. Thank you so much for sharing this time with me and for your life coaching. I feel like just send me the bill. I feel like I just went to a life coaching session.
Aw.
Yeah, it was really helpful. Really, really helpful. So thank you so much. I really appreciate you. But you know that I do.
Aw.
Yeah.
Thank you so much to me. Yeah, no, you're an inspiration to me. Just, the power that you have to influence people to really have a vision and then go after it. It's, I look up to you and I'm really grateful for your support. Thanks for having me here to talk with you for a little while. And I'm excited about how our continued collaboration will look.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you so much, Tis. Te quiero mucho. You know that, right?
Yo también.
Okay. Bye bye.
Bye.
This concludes this episode of I Have Something to Say. We want to thank you for tuning in. Don't forget to tell your friends about us. We're on Spotify and iTunes as well. There's more to come next week. And remember, if you have something to say, it's time to speak up.